What's going on, guys? Patch here. Hope you guys are having a fantastic day. Today we're going to be talking about one of the most important charts for the Bitcoin price right now. We're also going to be looking at some technical analysis as well as tons of other news that went on in the cryptocurrency space. But guys, before we get started with that, I want to break down a trade for you guys so that you guys can take the opportunity and use this in your next trade, because honestly there are so many opportunities in this market that people are just missing out on over and over and over again. One of the trades, now this was a little more complicated. We got in early over here, but right after that happened, we instantly dropped and hit target. So that one happened in the span of like 30 minutes. So not everybody could have been involved on that one, unfortunately. However, this is the one I want to talk about over here. We're going to go into some of the things I was watching out for when this was setting up, why we got into this, and so you guys, like I said, can take this information and use it in your own trades in the future as well. It all really started when we broke below the EMA ribbon. We were in a bearish trend. From there, we were looking more for shorts versus long because we're just going to play with what the trend gives us. Now, what happened was we had a few rejections here, right? We capitalized on one here like I told you about. We then had another one that came in. Obviously, you're not going to be in every single one of these because you'd have to be awake 24/7, but they still provide a ton of opportunities. Now, when Bitcoin started to reach this level over here, this is when it was time to keep an eye out because yes, we rejected multiple times and these all could have been very profitable trades. But now we got to the point where the EMA ribbon was tightening up a little bit. We saw not only resistance up here, but we also saw a little bit of support acting down here. So we wanted to make sure at this level that we weren't going to break above the EMA ribbon and enter a bullish trend. So this was kind of like the observation period, finding out what was going to do, or were we going to break up, or were we going to just break back down and continue the trend we were currently in. We did break back down over here. Very simple trade that came in after that. We broke back down. Then we came and retested the resistance. And well, I say this over and over again. We jumped in over here. We basically traded the rejection of the EMA ribbon. And then here we are. First target hit at around $10,000, at exactly $10,000. The next one at $9,900. And then we still have obviously an open trade that we can see if it does come back down and hit other targets. Stop losses are moved. It's in pure profit. So use this type of stuff. Keep it simple and use these type of patterns and use these indicators on your own trades as well, because they're going to really help you maximize the opportunities in this market. Too many people overcomplicate trading and think that it's something crazy with 50,000 lines, 20 Fibonacci's, 17 of another indicator. Like I don't know, it's way too complicated. It's just not how it works. Keep it simple. And I've proved to you guys time and time again that it really just is. It really just works, right? So if you feel like you're missing out on the opportunities, you want to catch all the trades that I'm in, make sure you check out the first link down below in the description for the cryptocurrency trader group. I post every single one of the trades that myself and my expert team are entering in this group, so that if you're a complete beginner, if you don't have time to do technical analysis, or you don't know how to do technical analysis, you can copy our exact trades. It takes 2 to 3 minutes to set up. After that, profits are taken automatically for you, so it becomes very, very passive. You'll get access to every single one of our altcoin trades, every single one of our leverage trades. You'll get access to the #1 community in the cryptocurrency space, but most importantly, you get to do everything, try out everything we have to offer for 14 days completely free. So 14 days after you sign up, you can test out. You'll see every one of our trades. We don't hide anything from you. You'll see everything for free. And if you don't like it, there's going to be no questions asked. You can simply cancel and you will avoid getting charged. So a bunch of you guys were in that trade. A bunch of you guys joined. For those of you who haven't joined, I look forward to seeing you guys in there and into the next trade. But trades aside, let's go into the actual analysis of what we can expect to happen in the future. I always like giving you guys the trades, and you guys seem to really enjoy it too, because it gives you an idea of what I'm looking at, what I saw in different trades. So you guys can take that information, like I said before, run with it and use it in your own trades. A lot of you guys have, and it's worked out well for you, so that really is all that matters to me. I'm really happy to hear something like that. But in the 1 hour time frame, this is where we're going to start at before we dive in further. We talked about how we were consolidating here, potentially looking for a break to the upside, but we did continue to break below the EMA ribbon, retested it, ran back down, even had another retest here, a 1 wick retest basically, and then rejected and is running back down again. So while we stay below the 1 hour, the EMA ribbon on the 1 hour time frame, short term, we can expect Bitcoin to continue on this downward slope. Now, the big thing to note here, obviously two big keys, is the CME futures gap at the $9,600 level that would be filled, 9,660, whatever it is. That's where it would actually be filled. And that's something that a lot of people are keeping an eye out on. And honestly, like I've said before, it still looks like a great opportunity to catch a long from that lower level into Bitcoin, hopefully bouncing up from the from the CME futures gap, which is something that we see happen usually pretty often, right? That's the first thing. Now, the second thing is if we're going to be looking at potentially having a W pattern form here. Now, it's going to be really simple to tell which one's going to happen. Bitcoin's either going to keep rejecting and we can play off of that, right? And it's going to go down and fill the gap. Or Bitcoin's going to break above the EMA ribbon. And if it breaks above the EMA ribbon, then we can expect that this W pattern is going to fill and that we're going to be obviously coming here, completing the W and moving up to the upside. Very clear things have to happen for each of those ones to happen. So keeping an eye out on both of those situations, play with what the market gives you. Don't try to predict, don't try to guess what's going to happen or what you hope is going to happen. Just play off the information the market gives you. It's really the easiest way to see success in this market. But that's the 1 hour time frame. Let's zoom out to the 4 hour. 4 hour, a little bit different. We obviously are lower here on the EMA ribbon already. What we can expect to happen here, although we haven't had many actual touches of the 4 rejections, we've seen multiple, obviously, rejections on these levels, but it hasn't been because of actually going in and touching the EMA ribbon like we are used to. So a little bit more difficult on the 4 hour chart over here, but same overall idea. It is obviously bouncing lower here. It is rejecting off of levels over here. It's not finding that break above the EMA ribbon. It's continuing to be below the EMA ribbon. So while it's below, we can expect things to be overall a little bit more bearish. Daily time frame. This is another one where there's a big gap between the price and the actual EMA ribbon right now, which is not something that happens very often. But keep in mind, we have not had that actual flip yet. It's coming, but it hasn't happened quite yet to see that bearish flip or the complete flip on the EMA ribbon. So that's the daily ones where, we want to see a little more of what the daily is going to give us. Hopefully, if it does flip, that'll at least give us confirmation that, yeah, bearish trend on the daily time frame. We can then reject one time. That'd be a very good indicator that, yeah, that's what's going to continue to happen. And then I'm very comfortable saying probability of filling the CME futures gap. If that happens and we haven't filled it yet by then, is very, very, very high that we actually do see that fill relatively soon. But here's the big one, the weekly time frame. I see a lot of people are getting already bearish because of all this situation. I've told you guys, the 1 hour, the 4 hour might be bearish, but that doesn't mean that long-term Bitcoin is bearish, at least not yet. And the reason I say that is because we're going to see this in just a little bit as well. But look at this area here, which we had previously acted as support multiple times. We had it act as resistance multiple times over here as well. Bitcoin over on the weekly time frame is still above the EMA ribbon, right? Overall bullish. It's still on that bullish trend above the EMA ribbon. But 2, most importantly, Bitcoin hasn't broken below that support yet, right? The resistance previously that's now support, it hasn't broken below that support either, which means we have no real reason for on these bigger time frames, on the big picture, to start panicking that the Bitcoin price is going to drop down to 0 or to 5,000. We talked about 9,600 for the CME futures gap. Even potentially 8,800 is another level we could see Bitcoin go to. That would fill, all the way at the bottom here of the EMA ribbon. So all of these are possible, but overall, long-term bearish, I don't think there's any reason for anybody to be jumping to that conclusion just yet. Now, things can change, and that might be, the situation we run into, but as of right now, it is way too early to be out here calling for an overall bearish Bitcoin when we're simply testing a support right here, both of the EMA ribbon support, but also just this previous resistance that's now support that I mentioned to you guys as well. So very, very good reasons to still remain overall bullish. These levels to me right here are perfect opportunities to dollar cost average if that's what you're trying to do for your long-term portfolio. If you're looking to catch along, then I gave you guys the levels I'm looking at. The CME futures gap, I keep getting the two mixed up. The CME futures gap is one that we want to watch out for to potentially catch along. And if that doesn't happen and we drop lower, $8,800 to me is the lowest we'd go right now. Not a high probability, I think, of that happening, but that's, the lowest I think we could go. Another good area for us to catch a long position, which we can obviously ride up to hopefully significantly higher numbers, especially with the volatility that we had. If we catch at the right time in one of these levels, it could, we could be in that trade, or that could be a long-term trade into the 10,000, 11,000, 12,000, who knows how high, maybe even back to test that $12,100 mark. And that could make you a killing if you're in the right position from there. So, make sure you guys are watching out for this if that's what you're trying to do. And obviously, if you're trying to find the exchange that I'm using to leverage that so you can actually make even more if you know what you're doing, I use Bybit. There's a link down below that gives you guys a free sign-up bonus. As long as you sign up using that link and deposit a certain amount, you can get up to like $90 free. Sometimes it's more, but you can get up to $90 for free that you can trade with. Put 10x on the $90. That's a $900 trade that you can have completely for free. I absolutely love it. That's what I'm transferring to. Obviously used BitMEX before, using Bybit a little more now because of everything going on with BitMEX, and I told you guys about that already. But yeah, these are the levels I'm looking at for longs, but primarily in the day-to-day, if we're looking at the 1 hour, to me, the day-to-day is really all about catching these short positions over here where we can enter a rejection like this and capitalize on that. And then same thing, like I mentioned before, keep it out. This is not only, I want to make it as clear as possible so that you guys, if you're not part of the group, you can actually capitalize on this yourself. Same thing happens when we break above the EMA ribbon. We're looking for long positions more than short positions, and all of these ones are all opportunities where you can catch these moves, rejections over here, either rejections of the strong support down here or even rejections of the lighter support. What you can do is set your first buy entry at the top support and then set another buy at the bottom one. That way, if you hit both, you dollar cost average in, and then you can capitalize again on all these moves. I love looking at something like this because it's just so straightforward, and it just provides some of the most profitable few days that you can have in the market over and over and over again. And if you put a 10x leverage or a 5x leverage on that, you guys probably know what I'm talking about. I say the same thing every video, but it's just because really I'm just trying to help. I love doing what I'm doing, and it's working really, really well. Now, CME futures gap again. This is what we're looking at. So to give you guys the exact figure on this chart, 9,660-ish, 9,665. That's what we're looking at to fill the gap. We've teased at it a little bit. Obviously had those little teaser candles that came down. Haven't filled it yet. Went all the way down, pretty much the same to $9,875. But we haven't filled that gap yet. So these candle wicks don't count as a gap fill. Still eyeing for that. And again, to me, entering here for a long would be great, or even entering anywhere over here at the bottom of this support down here, obviously, strong support would be a great entry for a long position as well. Let's just give you guys an idea of what that looks like. If we were to enter, let's say we enter at 9,100 and it goes back up to test 12,100, where would that be? That'd be over here. 32%, 33% move, 10x leverage, 330%, depending on how much money. It doesn't matter though. These are the type of opportunities that hopefully we are able to catch. But after a $2,000 drop, like I mentioned, we were looking at this. Everyone's looking at this. I saw this come out as well, talking about the 1 week time frame being as we had multiple resistances here, and then now it's acting as support. So it's not really a major reason to panic unless you're holding Polkadot, because that guy's down 36.7%. So if you're holding Polkadot, I don't really know much about Polkadot. It's not it's not what I'm looking at to trade or anything like that. But yeah, it's not necessarily the greatest one to be holding right now. But Bitcoin's down, dragging a bunch of altcoins down as well. But the most important thing, where you put your money, be very careful where you put your money. Obviously, founder of SushiSwap DeFi protocol decided to cash out. He swapped all of his holdings, all of his sushi holdings to Ethereum. He's claiming it's not an exit scam, but he traded for a lot of money into Ethereum. So a lot of people are kind of iffy about that, not exactly too happy. Make sure you're investing in something good and legitimate if it's for the long term. If you're just trading it, make sure you have a strategy for it. Make sure you know where you're entering, you're exiting, and everything like that, so you can, again, not fall victim to something that could be a scam. We don't know what this is, but something that could be a scam. We've seen multiple scams in this market. This was just a headline to remind you guys to be careful with what it is that you are investing in. But hopefully you guys did enjoy. If you did, don't forget, leave a thumbs up, leave a comment down below letting me know your thoughts, and make sure you are subscribed and you hit that notification bell next to it so you can be updated every time I upload a new video, and you can put yourself in the best position to maximize the most you can in this market, maximize the opportunities in this market. That's why I make these videos. That's why I give you guys as much information as I can, so that you can take advantage of all the opportunities. So if you want more of that, like I said, make sure you're subscribed, make sure you hit the notification bell, and I'll see you guys on Wednesday for another video.